Some of these rebellions included the Boston Massacre, the Gaspee Affairs, and the Boston Tea Party. On April 18, 1775, when British got to Boston, General Thomas Gage ordered troops to Lexington to capture Samuel Adams and John Hancock. Also at Concord, where colonists stored ammunition and arms. Paul Revere and William Dawes were Minutemen. Adams and Hancock got away, but ammunition was destroyed. Sam Adams and John Hancock were both major representatives of Boston in the Constitutional Congress and led the colonies against Britain for the freedom of their own people. Paul Revere and William Dawes were the two men who rode horseback through Massachusetts. They would warn the colonies and the Minutemen that the British were coming, so they would be alert and ready for their arrival if they needed to fight. This ride was called the Midnight Ride, and it became a very significant part of the park. Paul Revere did get captured by the British, but later released. These Minutemen, who Revere and Dawes were warning, are known as the militiamen all around the Massachusetts area that could be ready at a moment's notice. The men were all volunteers. They could be at home or on the farm, and then get a call to defend their colonies. This group was formed by the Continental Congress, which was led by John Hancock. It served as the only type of defense for the colonies if ever needed. They were not well trained and were very outnumbered compared to the British. In the early morning, as British walked along the road into Lexington and headed towards Concord, they were met by about 80 Minutemen. Neither the British or Minutemen had orders to fire, but against the commands, someone did. This is known as a shot heard around the world because it is the first shot to be fired that led to a revolution. This battle lasted about 20 minutes. Once it was over, the British continued towards Concord, leaving 8 Minutemen dead. For the Minutemen, this fighting was very new to them. Most of them used their own supplies and ammunition. It took them a very long time to load their guns and prepare to fire, so it was not a very organized attack. Once British arrived at Concord around 12 in the afternoon, the British soldiers began searching the houses for firearms. As the Minutemen approached and saw the British burning their houses and supplies, they ran out to save them. The Minutemen had also taken control of the North Bridge at this point. After the British soldiers retreated from the houses, the Minutemen followed. Once the British got to North Bridge, they got told to shoot. This caused Minutemen to fire back on the British. British became outnumbered 4-1 because the Minutemen from other towns had heard of the Lexington shooting and hurried to help. Half of the British officers were wounded, so they began retreating back to Boston. As British retreated back towards Boston, Minutemen took position everywhere they could in the British path. British encountered severe firing from hundreds of Minutemen hiding behind walls, bushes, and trees. The type of fighting is now known as guerrilla warfare, but range was too great for the Minutemen's muskets, and the British escaped with few casualties.